Guys, pays attention to each and every word I'm saying. So it's a very deep meaning. So try to focus. Welcome to Super Science Bhagavad Gita, the highest, most prime, and the only complete knowledge which is the source of everything and it answers every possible question. So it is an analysis of what I have done with regarding to Bhagavad Gita. So let's continue. When we say there is emptiness in the room, it means in our mind that the room is filled with emptiness. So we also use emptiness as an object. Emptiness is full, as if emptiness is a thing, whereas emptiness means not being filled, where there is nothing. But even if we use nothing, we also use nothing as an object. The word in English is nothing. It is made from no thing. Even if you want to say nothing, no of something, still a thing has to be brought into it. We cannot think without objects. We cannot think without the physical. Therefore, consider this subtle word of Krishna as a compulsion of man. This means there is no part of the gross, there is no very subtle gross. Subtle means which is not gross at all. And what is gross? Whatever is visible is gross. Whatever comes in touch is gross. What is heard is gross. In reality, whatever comes within the grasp of the senses is gross. It is not that tomorrow you can make a big telescope or a microscope, and if you get hold of it, it will become microscopic. No, whatever gets caught is gross, because binoculars do nothing but increase the power of your eyes senses. Your eyes seem to be become bigger and bigger. Even if we develop the biggest machines, what will be caught will still be gross, because all instruments are extensions or of our senses. They are further additions to our senses. A man is looking through his eyes with glasses. So, what he could not see with his eyes is now visible, but he is not seeing anything subtle. Scientists are observing great distant things, very distant, but that too is gross. Whatever can be seen, whatever can be heard, whatever can be touched, whatever comes within the range of senses is gross. Subtle means that which does not come within the range of human sense, cannot come, cannot be brought. In fact, that which even thought cannot grasp is subtle. Now scientists say that until yesterday that atom was the smallest. Now the atom also broke. Now there is electron, neutron and proton. Now scientists say that there are the most subtle these electrons and protons and neutrons, because now they are out of sight. Now it is just a matter of conjecture. But even what is estimated is not subtle, because guesswork is also a part of human thought. So that is conjecture. Therefore, what scientists are calling electrons are also not the subtle form of Krishna. Beyond the electron, it would be better to say, because always the beyond whatever you can reach. If we reach there also, then that which is beyond it, the transcendental, that which always transcends is subtle, whose quality is to transcend. As far as you can hold, what always remains beyond it, it always remains and will always remain. So that is transcendental. It would be appropriate to understand properly. We have two words, agyat, unknown, agya, unknowable. Generally, when we go to understand the subtleties, it seems that whatever is not known by us is unknown. No, Krishna is not calling that unknown subtle, because what is unknown can be known. What is unknown will become known tomorrow. So it is not subtle. The one which has the potentiality or possibility of being known even in infinity is not subtle. Only the gross can be known. If it doesn't happen today, it may happen tomorrow. It may not happen tomorrow, it may happen someday. But whatever can be known is gross. That which cannot be known, which always remains outside knowledge, which always remains beyond grasp of knowing, is a gear, means unknowledgeable. A gear. Know that which cannot be known is subtle. So, subtle does not mean that if we have good equipment, we will know it. People ask whether scientists will ever be able to know God. Whoever is known by science will not be God, because the meaning of God is that which cannot be grasped by knowing. If someday the laboratory of science captures God, then he will become matter. In fact, as far as God can be grasped, its name is matter. And where God cannot be grasped, God is there. God can only be experienced. One can try to put someone in the direction of God so that the other person can personally experience it to know. It is important to keep the meaning of subtleness by Krishna in mind properly, because whatever is subtle is true, whatever is caught will be false. It will happen today, then not tomorrow, and then not tomorrow. That which cannot be grasped is the truth. If we go to a room in which flowers are kept, the flowers are fine in the morning, but will wither in the evening. Lord Shankaraji's statue is kept under the same flower. It was well in the morning as well in the evening as well. But in 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, 1,000 years, it will disintegrate. The flower disintegrated in a day. It was a stone, so it took 1,000 years for it to scatter. It doesn't matter, and it won't make any difference. There is only one thing in the room that will not be destroyed. That is the roominess of the room. That emptiness will not be scattered at any time. That is subtle, that is true. Whatever is there in the rest of the room will be scattered. I have read a story by a Taoist painter. I read that a Tao master told his disciples to draw a picture. The disciples asked to give some theme, some topic. So the master said, "You draw a picture of a cow grazing on grass." They made pictures and brought them. Everyone had drawn beautiful pictures and brought them. But there was something surprising in the picture that a monk had drawn, because he had brought only a blank paper. The Guru asked, "Were you not able to draw anything?" The monk said, "No, the picture had been drawn. See." Then the Guru looked at his paper, and the disciples also looked at the paper. Then everyone looked at him and asked, "Where is the cow?" So he said the cow had finished grazing on the grass. The master asked, "Where is the grass that was there then?" So he said, "The cow has grazed the grass." So they asked again, "What is left in this?" So he said, "Whatever was there before the cow and before the grass, and remains after the cow goes, and remains even after the grass is finished. That is what I have drawn and created here." But they all started asking again, "Then that is a blank paper." But he said that this is what remains, this blankness that always exists. Krishna is calling this blankness subtle, all that remains after the waves rise and fall, and that which always remains is the truth. So, is there was a question that was asked. In your discourse on nothingness versus everythingness, you use the words running and waking up. So, what does it mean to me whether I should run away or wake up from reality? Doesn't the element of effort comes into this? At what place does evil have in total of acceptability? So I will ask this question from others, and then I will make a conclusion, and then I will give you the answer in my next video. So thank you guys, and focus on the words that I said in the beginning about Bhagavad Gita.